watch the stars and the shooting stars. We know who we are from beyond to the veiled intention between ourselves. There is no other, only this, there is no other. There is no other.
Hello, and welcome to episode 0 of When the Sun Sets East, a podcast about why, brought to you by the Music Ark and the Ark of E Network. My name is Noah.
And my name is Gavin.
And we're the Blanchard brothers. You're not hearing a Lost in the Folds episode this week, and it's Wednesday, not Friday, as you might have seen. We've teased this project for quite a while, but it's finally coming to fruition. I'm super excited. This whole endeavor is centered around the band Y. That's Y with a question mark. If you're not aware of them, Spotify immediately, Facebook, their website, etc. Check them out, get interested, because we are about to take a musical journey, brother. Shit is about to get really weird.
Why is that, Noah?
Because it's a little off the beaten path. We've discussed why on some of our early Music Ark episodes, you and I.
Yeah.
They came up on my sophomore albums list. One of my favorite albums of all time, Alopecia, which we'll get to in episode 2, which is currently in its 10th year anniversary. They're doing a giant US/world tour, and I just recently secured tickets. I'm going to see them for the first time ever, a band that has, over the last few years, become one of my favorite bands. Second, only maybe at this point, to Modest Mouse, my all-time favorite band. Probably never going to change. But I love Y, and I want to try and share my love of Y with the listening public, any of our fans, anybody who's interested in getting turned on to a new band. But most importantly, I'm trying to get my brother on board. If you know anything about Y, and we'll get a little more into the history of the band as we go through the albums, but the man at the helm, if you will, the lead lyricist and vocalist, is Mr. Yoni Wolf. And one of the other band members is his brother, his older brother, Josiah Wolf. Percussion, background vocals, lots of other stuff. And they've been a 3-piece at times, they've been a 4-piece at times. Y originally started as Yoni's solo moniker, but by the time we get to the album that we're going to discuss next week, Elephant Eyelash, they are a full band, and it is the Y as we know them today. So, in that spirit, there's probably a point where Mr. Yoni Wolf had to convince his brother, Josiah, hey, come on this journey with me. We're going to make some music together. So here I am, reaching out to my older brother, and we're going to do this. I've been talking your ear off about it for at least a month or two now, probably. I've been trying to get you into them way back on our Best of 2017 list.
Yep.
Where they're Moh Lhean, if I'm terribly screwing it up, let me know. I think I am. Was my number 1 album of last year. So I'm quite the fan. Gavin has dipped his toe in, as it were, but we're gonna try and convert him by the end of this. This is a follow-up of Lost in the Folds in a lot of ways. If you listen to Sunshine and Max series, Sunshine was not a fan of Mr. Ben Folds as it started. Max was a super fan of sorts. And by the end, Alex pretty much came around. And that's what I'm hoping to do with you here. You're going to have to listen to some things that some stuff that's pretty out there. Some stuff that you may not have ever come across before.
No, I've already listened to a good bit, and I'm kind of like, okay. Yeah,
very interested to see where you're going to fall with them, because again, we have similar music tastes, but we also have very, very diverse and different and divergent music tastes.
Yes.
Not that I hate a lot of stuff that you like or vice versa. It's just I don't think you listen to a lot of the stuff that I really, really like.
No,
it's just not necessarily in your wheelhouse.
No, we can say that up front. It definitely isn't.
Yes. Again, as previously stated, Modest Mouse is my favorite band, so they were kind of in a lot of ways my gateway into weird music.
Yeah.
And so that's always been something that I've responded to. And in the last several years in particular, I've kind of been reinvigorated by the current state of hip-hop. Not all of it, because I still think large swaths of it are not great. But artists like Kendrick Lamar, Frank Ocean, Tribe, of course, who's a huge influence on Yoni. We'll get into all of that. All those recent records, Run the Jewels, kind of just reinvigorated my interest in hip-hop, which in turn reinvigorated my interest and my exploration of why. Here's where it all began for me, Gavin. It started, as a lot of things do, with a movie.
Oh.
A movie that you love. A movie I introduced you to. Do you know what movie it is?
Can you give me a hint?
Back when I was in college, I was lucky enough to catch a midnight screening of one of my favorite films of all time, made by a collective known as Coat Wolf Films.
Oh, Bellflower.
A movie called Bellflower. That's right, Gavin. We haven't done our segment in a little bit. You wanna go to it? Our podcast within a podcast?
Yeah, let's do that.
Where in the world is Chuck Hank and the San Diego Twins?
There's a new bulletin coming in from the streets now. It seems that Chuck Hank and the San Diego Twins is still not in theaters.
Unknown when it will be released. Mr. Evan Glodell, if somehow you are listening, if any member of the Coat Wolf crew is listening to this bulletin, where is it? We just want to see it. We'll pay you money for it.
Do you need help with it? Do you need to bring it somewhere?
Yeah, we'll watch a rough cut, and we won't even say anything about it. We just want to lay our eyeballs on what we are sure is going to be a masterpiece. Cannot wait. We've been waiting.
You can only watch a trailer so many times.
Yes, this is true. And I watch that trailer at least once a month when I'm checking the status of what's going on with it. Mm-hmm. And usually there's no new news. So if you're out there on the internet and you've got some news, let me know. I'm not aware, and I'd like to find this out as well. I don't know if the filmmakers were just fans of Y as a band, or if it was like Glodell specifically. I don't know who the music supervisor was. I think it was Jonathan Keevil, who did a lot of songs for the soundtrack. But they use a lot of Y in the course of Bellflower. And most of it, all of it, in fact, I'm pretty sure, is from Alopecia, the second record, which is kind of the fan favorite, as you may have gathered by now. And I think the one that you're going to have the easiest time keying into.
I feel like it, because I've listened to the first one, and I'm just kind of like, it's not bad, but it's just not anything I would ever want to buy.
For episode 1, and I'm not going to disagree with you there, but Elephant Eyelash also houses one of might be my all-time favorite Y song. We'll get to that when we get to it. But I agree. It's a lot to throw at you for a first album and a first listen and a first episode, which is why we're doing this episode 0. Give us a little bit more breathing room, and maybe we can double up on recordings and bank these, roll them out at a nice steady pace, and maybe when I go see them live in December, maybe I can do a little satellite episode. Should also mention, if you want to get further into the band beyond just listening to them, Yoni has a bazillion side projects. You can look those all up on Spotify. He also has a podcast, one of my favorite podcasts there is. It's called The Wandering Wolf, and he talks to different artists, musicians, family members, all sorts of different people, comedians. Glenn Howerton from Always Sunny, huge fan of Elephant Eyelash, the first album.
Wow.
If that sways your opinion at all, Gavin.
I'm more of a Mac guy.
But yeah,
Dennis,
I recommend that you do 2 things as we work through this. Your kind of additional homework. I need you to listen to all 5 of the proper LPs. We're going Elephant Eyelash, episode 1, Alopecia, episode 2, Eskimo Snow, episode 3, Mumps, etc., episode 4, and of course, Moh Lhean will be episode 5. Okay? That's all I'm asking you to do. It's just 5 albums. They're pretty reasonable length, I will say. I think you'll be able to make it through quite easily. But in the meantime, I want you to rewatch Bellflower for how their music is incorporated. Okay? So I'm sure that's not too much of a chore. And I want you to just go check out the podcast. It's on iTunes. It's on Stitcher. The Wandering Wolf. And I want you to start with the Mark Maron episode. That can be your gateway.
You know what? I was going to say,
interviewing Maron.
I thought I saw something about Maron being a guest somewhere else.
So I will message you. I will direct message you that episode, so you can check that out. Maybe that'll be your gateway into his podcast. And that's a lot of what their music is a gateway into Yoni's brain. So I feel like that's kind of an integral part of this and kind of a great companion piece. So there's well over 100 episodes at this point. I am currently working my way through the back catalog because I only discovered it a couple months ago. And it's great. It's fantastic. It's great, like long form, conversational. A lot of cool stuff comes out of it. And he gets really, really interesting people, and it's turned me on to a ton of bands that I wouldn't have known about otherwise. So I hope this podcast can do that, and I hope you'll join us as we take a journey to where the sun sets east. But to be clear, the podcast is when the sun sets east.
Which hasn't happened.
So, yes, exactly. As Mr. Owen Wilson taught us all in Shanghai Noon, the sun does not rise in the west. It sets there. It always sets there. So it's a great turn of phrase because what it essentially means is I'll see you never.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, that of course comes from Good Friday, one of the all-time great Y tracks, and that's going to be our outro music for every episode. Spoiler alert. And we have such a great sign-off for this one, brother. So join me for this week, for episode 0 of When the Sun Sets East. I have been Noah.
And I have been Gavin.
And we've been the Blanchard Brothers, and we will see you when the sun sets east.
See you when the sun sets east. Don't forget me.
Yeah, I don't like that I doubled up on it.
Yeah.
This is like episode 0. We'll work on it. It's a work in progress.
Yeah, no, we can tweak it. I'm sure.
I'm keeping this in here.
I like this plan. I'm happy to be a part of it.
Yeah. So thanks for sitting down with me for this. We'll do an album proper, hopefully very soon.
Sounds like a plan to me, brother.
I love you, brother.
I love you too. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to our dad. If you're listening to this episode, you know what Dad is doing? Holy shit, this is totally great bonus content. Real quick before we wrap.
What?
So I texted Dad earlier today.
Uh-huh.
Direct message him the episode. Okay? That would be the Cobra Kai episode on the TV Ark podcast. Go listen to it. And I also sent him a link to the Music Ark, tell him to check out Mayfield's podcast now that it's all done, etc., etc. And he gives me the big, the thumbs up emoji, which he's quite fond of.
Yes.
And then he informs me that Germany and Mexico are playing at 11. I'm like, Germany's got it in the bag. I think they'll go all the way this year. It's World Cup season, by the way, people. Get excited. And I said, by the way, Pop, you can catch Cobra Kai on YouTube. The first 2 are readily available. And if you sign up for free, 1-month trial, YouTube Red, you can watch the rest and have 0 ads. Definitely worth your time. 10 episodes, about 27 to 30 minutes each. It's fantastic, Pop. Cool, with a K. Just like the gang. And so I went ahead and I sent him a direct link to the first episode, to which he replied, thanks. I was like, dude, Chromecast it out in your shop. You were just showing me off your fancy Chromecast you got. Another thumbs up. About a couple hours later, Kevin, I got sucked in episode 4. I know, right, Dad? Another giant thumbs up. It's too damn good. Episode 5, you're going to lose it. Crack a beer and prepare yourself.
Wait, so he bought a YouTube Red subscription?
It's free. It's a free subscription. But he committed to it within the, within the next 2 hours. And I was just like, oh my God, I can't wait for him to get episode 5. He's going to cry his eyes out. Pat Morita, it's genius. It's amazing. But yeah, dude, he's probably going to finish the show by the end of the day. So,
probably.
Sequel podcast. We got to talk to Dad about Cobra Kai.
Dude, we have to. Maybe he'll finally,
definitely get on mic to talk about this, man. And that'll be a great excuse for us to go back through episode by episode when we do that. We just got to get Dad on mic. Maybe, dude, if we can convince him, we got to get Dad for the entire run of the Karate Kid miniseries that we're going to do.
So, like, how about we...
Start pitching it now.
Well, how about we tell him, look, we want to talk to you about Cobra Kai, but, and we want to get your take on, like, the movies. So how about, like, you don't have to talk about every movie, but you just, come in like a blurb and, talk to us, like, give us a little bit like a segment for the movies, but we definitely want to talk to you about everything for Cobra Kai. So that way we're not making him like, oh, he's got to sit down, he's got to do this stuff, he's got to like, go through it with us. It's more like he's going to give us his take on the episodes of the TV show, like in depth. But then when it comes to the movies, it's like, what'd you think of the first one, Pop? Oh, it's like maybe like a 10,
We can
15
drop
minute
him in.
question.
He can have his own Brendan's corner.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
But we have to like have dope ass music, like the doom 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 doom, like do that, like
Definitely.
when we play into his or just no, that's when we drop you the best around.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
The best dad around.
Yeah,
You are the best dad around, Christopher Blanchard.
yeah,
Pop.
Pop.
Love you. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, Pop.
Hope everybody enjoyed this extra little outro
Yeah.
where we rambled on further about
Cobra
Cobra Kai.
Kai. It's that damn
on
good.
the music arc. Yeah. But, okay. Next week, we'll be back. Until then.
We'll see you when the sun sets east.
Can't say it like that.